Week 5 of Split 2 of the 2019 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I just saved the errant hair from falling down before we went live. And I am joined on the couch by my single favorite person that's on the couch. It's Spawn.
G'day, Nick. How are you?
Look, I feel like on the scale of casters' health and energy,
Yep. I'm up the top.
I reckon it's me and Pulse kind of up here.
Okay.
And then it would be... Well, Rusty's feeling sick, but I reckon personality-wise he's still there. Then you, and then Bryce is at home just, like, hugging the bowl.
So my understanding is you told us a story about Banjo.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding of that story is Bryce took that very personally.
I think
and tried to emulate his life around Banjo's life. And has done everything apart from fall over and hurt his face.
There's still time.
There is still
so
time.
Bryce is a very, very sick boy, so he won't be joining us today.
Suck it, Bryce.
Please send your love and good energies to him. He really needs it.
Just flame him, because if
Or
there's
just flame
nothing
him.
that makes you feel better when you're unwell, it's randoms on Twitter flaming you.
And the best thing is he can't do anything about it on
absolutely
the broadcast.
not.
He cannot respond. That is the power of the internet. So we are Bryceless, but that is fine. We will soldier on as always because we are...
Banger?
No, I was going to say professionals.
Professionals.
Yeah, we spoke about this yesterday. That's
Oh,
fine.
all right.
Speaking of professionals, you could become a professional League of Legends player if you wanted. There's a pathway, and it starts with OCAL. Join up to the Oceanic Community Amateur League. Get a team together. Experience the thrill of playing competitive League of Legends with an official team, which we do most nights with the MPL.
Yeah, absolutely. And last night, we had some success.
I mean, the practice game was
Yeah,
just
exactly.
that was
Warm-up
just to get out
game?
the
That's
bad
a warm-up
juju.
game.
That second game, that was a successful, impressive
You were
game.
phenomenal on the Zillion.
So thank you very much. Can I tell you, I've been thinking about it all day. I've been
good.
going, I could be a Zillion one trick.
You could be.
There's something about that champion that completely clicks with me. I suddenly understand where to ward. I suddenly understand item spikes. And then I don't understand any of that stuff when I play any other champion.
But that's good. I think, like, when I first learned League of Legends,
Yeah.
I just played a lot of Garen. Because there's so much else going on in League of Legends. Like, everyone thinks it's just your champion, but you have to know what, like, 140 other champions do.
Yeah.
So if you just remove your variables, right, and you know what you're doing, you can focus on so much more going on in the game. So, like, I played like 1,000 Garen games.
And not only can you focus on everything else, but you can improve on something
Yeah, exactly.
very consistently. So, in the MPL, Zillion might be making a few more reappearances. I just wish he had better skins. That's what I'm saying. I want
you
that
not like
Santa
Groovy?
one. I can't. No. Well, I like the idea of Groovy. It doesn't execute on it. It's kind of just a bit like... It's just a bit like... It looks a bit like whatever Bryce is putting in the toilet. But, I want that Santa skin, but I can't buy it, apparently.
I mean, what we'll do
Yep.
is we'll just buy you a lot of mystery boxes.
And
And start gifting you random skins.
That's
We
nice.
need to get Twitch chat behind this, actually.
That's a good.
Everyone
idea.
start gifting Nick skins.
Please.
I think that's one of the only ways to unlock legacy skins.
Yep.
I know this because Bryce has a lot of skins, right? But on one of his accounts he used to play on, he really wanted Samsung White Thresh.
Yep.
And one day I was real bored. So I just gifted him like 100 skins.
That's so
just in
nice.
hope that he would get it, and he didn't get it. But I tried.
Okay.
So, and
this
we
is-
should try with you.
So this is really a story about like
Failing.
how you're a nice guy and actually.
Yeah, and Bryce is vomiting.
That's true. But if when I open up the league client today for MPL, there better be at least 10 there. I mean, come on. I know you're watching. Give with your hearts. Speaking of giving with your hearts, come to MEO because it's going to be a banger of event, as Bryce would put it. Melbourne Esports Open. It's where we're holding the grand final for the 2019 OPL. Live stage event, melbourneesportsopen.com.au/tickets. And there's a bunch of awesome games playing all throughout the weekend. It's a huge community event. The league presence is enormous. And it's just a hell of a time. You and I are going to have a couch.
Yeah, we're going to have a couch. It's going to be in front of the big screen.
Yep.
The other cool thing about the event is, like, it's so rare that you can get, like, merch for OSORGs and stuff like that. Melbourne Esports Open, like, there was so much merch there last
That's
year.
true.
There was limited edition stuff. All the big trucks and stuff are around with computers and stuff in it. Lots of community stuff to do.
You could just take a computer. There's just trucks filled with them.
You could, if you ran real quick,
There you go.
I reckon get away with it.
You could probably get away with it. I won't tell anyone. And the final plug before we get into the day. Headspace. You saw us do push-ups yesterday. Those push-ups were for a cause. The push-up challenge is to help raise awareness about mental health in young people in Australia, which Headspace is, of course, that's what they're all about. Riot OS has partnered with Headspace to do the push-up challenge, 3,128 push-ups in a month. You can sign up to do your own set of push-ups. The casting team did some yesterday. Some of the players did things yesterday. Rusty did a couple extra. And Rusty assured me today,
just going to do all of them.
He said just before we went on air, I don't think you were in the room, that if we need to fill for time, he'll just come down and do more push-ups. He actually said that.
That's very nice of him.
It's very nice. He's a total giving human being. So I hope there's a technical issue today. All right. If there is a technical issue, it'll happen between one of these games. So let's look at the schedule for this evening. First up, it's Order versus Direwolves. A banger, as you spoke about yesterday, potentially because of the ladder standings. Gravitas versus Chiefs, game number 2. Bombers versus Mammoth, battling it out for top spot. And Legacy versus Avant round out the evening.
And some really important games today. You know, we mentioned number 1 already, and I spoke about it in depth yesterday. Bombers versus Mammoth, in my eyes as well. Another very important game because Bombers want to be in contention for that top spot still.
Yep.
I feel like if they lose another game, give Mammoth, that 4-game buffer, that becomes real hard because head-to-head starts coming into it. And it's just, trust me, when you get to the latter stage of the season, it's really difficult to close that gap amongst the top teams. So I feel like that journey needs to start today. Every single team that has ever finished first in the OPL has gone on to win it. Running the gauntlet is an incredibly draining and difficult thing.
Yep.
Auto seed through the grand final is so important at the moment. Direwolves did it 4 times. Bombers have done it once. You do not want to be in a position where you cannot do that at the end of the season if you're the Bombers.
Absolutely. And Bombers, Mammoth, and AV are all in that position where, like you said, every game counts. Obviously, every game counts for every team, but particularly that top spot, you just want that freebie to skip gauntlet, so it is very important. But no more ado. It is Order versus Direwolves for game number 1. As you said, an important one when it comes to those standings for both teams because they are battling for similar positions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the gauntlet spot, right? If we're going to call this the halfway point of the season, which it pretty much is, this game would determine who made gauntlet if it was the end of the season. Direwolves have looked good. They've been changing up their roster, however. Order seem like they're on the back on the rise. They've won 3 games in a row now. They would be looking to make this one the 4th after a pretty disastrous early season. And I think yesterday was kind of the best game they've played since the gauntlet, in my eyes. I thought, they looked pretty good. So this is going to be a great challenge to see where both of these teams are at. And I think whoever wins this could start trying to join back into that top 4 race as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of great challenges, please send in your questions to asknickboy@gmail.com. We're doing double Nick bag today. We want to help you with your relationships, all your pet questions, whatever it is you have. It was questions about your parents or questions for your parents that we'll ask your parents.
Correct.
Those were suggestions from yesterday. But let's jump into game number 1, Order versus Direwolves, and the Mac is Champ Select with Rusty and Pulse.
Thank you, Nick. Well, how are you doing today, Rusty?
I'm all right. I'm
Yeah?
here. And that's
I
what
heard
matters.
this morning that you were going the way of Jim, but you managed to muscle through.
Yes, well, something that you would be familiar with as well is that we've spent a year in China prior to this, so I think the iron stomach has come out on top in this particular bout where Ejim unfortunately has suffered the consequences.
Should have come to China with us, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like a buff that you get for like a certain amount of time, and it's just like immune systemic problems.
That's what we have learned, though it still is a lingering feeling. So we're trying to persevere, just make it through the night,
Take it
one
a game
game at a time. That's all that matters. And our first game of the day, Order and Direwolves, I would say is a very exciting game, Pulse, to say the least.
Yeah.
Particularly for the side of Order, who seem to be on that win streak and on that rise. 3 games in a row, they have been looking a lot better. But while it was mentioned by Spawn, their best game with a split, it looked like, since Gauntlet was yesterday, I could say the same thing for their first game with a split against Bombers when they demolished their opponents. But there was the trough in the middle. So that's always the thing you have to look at for them, Is that consistency going to remain? Will we get a second 2-0 week from Order? Or do they find, the inconsistencies start to peek through again, slip through the cracks, and unfortunately they start to fall behind?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Order have a nice run ahead of them, right? Because yesterday, obviously, they faced Legacy, which was essentially a game of how well are you going to close out this game, Order, versus, like, are you going to win this game today versus Direwolves? I mean, exactly the same on the standings. This is now literally the team that you have to beat if you're wanting to get into the second half of the standings, right, as we get into Champion Select. Lux and Lucian banned out by Order. Direwolves taking away the Nico and the Karma.
Yeah, 2 supports taken off the board this time around. We've seen a fluctuating amount of supports focused. One thing we haven't seen a whole host of is the Mordekaiser nor the Kiana that are both available this week. And we will see in other regions for certain. We've seen in the OPL yesterday.
Yep.
I'd be shocked if we don't see more in the EU, the LEC in the coming weekend as well. So I would expect those champions to be prioritized, but not so much in Oceania this week.
Yep.
It may just be in next week.
Now be very quiet, Rusty, because this is the first banning phase that we haven't had a Mordekaiser ban on this current patch in the OPL. We'll see if anyone picks it.
We've got a lot of champions banned, and this one hasn't been as well. So Sejuani locked in. Now Direwolves, they should just pick the Silas. The question is, what do they do with the Silas? As Tom Kench, Varus. Tom Kench actually is high priority now that Lux has been banned. Karma and Yumi have all been banned. The fourth, I would say, of the top 4 supports available. Order on the flip side can just go Zarya Rakan, however, and feel comfortable. So
Yep.
I think so far the draft is just going almost in a very predictable route as to where these champions would be. So Order here, Zarya Rakan, very easy. Or they could prioritize, once again, the Renekton that we saw from them yesterday.
Yeah.
As Sejuani Renekton is a really powerful duo, and Tally obviously likes the pick.
Yeah, there's not a lot of top laners that can do particularly well into that matchup. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Also,
actually
this,
into-
like,
I mean,
holy
Irelia
moly.
and Renekton are up. So if you really just wanted to lock in solo,
You could go
lanes,
Maud.
You could just.
Aurelia Maud, double
I
melee
want to see it.
champions,
I'm
double
just not
flex.
trying to jinx it, you know? Because you do have like the tried and true. Irelia's open, has been locked in. Renekton's open, it could be locked in. Braum, okay, just going to go for the Braum lock in. Now, over to the Direwolves. I feel like if Maud doesn't get picked here, then we're just going to be banned on second phase. But we'll see what Direwolves look towards.
And this, to me, is almost like, as far as the first 2 picks of a draft go for Order, you think back to last split, this is broken. Like, this just wins 100% of the games that you see. If you manage to get this Exodia-type combo, like, nothing beats it. Aurelia being able to auto-attack at really fast speeds with a Sejuani and a Braum that complement each other with the stun duo, nuts down in the bottom lane. So, realistically now, you could even look at like an Ezreal for Dream. Just play safe, wait for the ganks to come down the bottom. Anytime the Sedge is there, really high kill threat. That's pretty much how I would expect this lane to go, and for me, I have to look at Direwolves more than anyone else now and say, how do you combat this? Because Silas is good against Sejuani. You would say he's the better version of Sedge in a lot of regards. You can duel her pretty well, and you take the Sejuani ultimate. But you don't have a Braum.
You can become the Sejuani.
You don't have the passive that the composition of Order now works with. So how do you make your comp really strong against it?
All right, Vladimir ban, Ashe ban. We'll set a Renekton pickup by Direwolves. Running towards the final ban from Direwolves, and it will be Mordekaiser, so still no Mordekaiser game. I'm really waiting to see a Mord in any lane, to be honest. But Varus will be the final ban out.
Yeah, the tragedy here is they're pretty locked into the Tahm Kench unless they do some wacky flexes and it's actually Tahm Kench top with a Renekton mid. You know, Biopanther's one of the few people that can play it, but let's not consider that too much. Right now, I would look at what 80 carry realistically would they be going for down in the bottom lane. We mentioned how strong this could be for Order, so it's just going to be a denial pick with the Ashe, Varus, and Lucian already taken off the board by Order's bans. Now I'm very curious to see where the response is going to be. Is it just a Kai'Sa? You know, is it just something very standard?
Yeah, I mean, Katsuri has been fantastic on the Ezreal recently. I think he's just been an outstanding player in general. Also, note that Corporal was playing today over Totoro as he was yesterday. So we're going to see this duo. And it was pretty much business as usual in Direwolves' game on Friday.
You could say that, but they lost in 24 minutes.
They did.
To the
I'm kind of
Chiefs.
more talking about the bottom lane.
Yeah.
In a vacuum, but yes, they did indeed lose. Yeah, Vayne and Azir. So, been a little while since I've seen a Vayne into the bottom lane.
Yeah, you don't often get to see the Vayne, though I would say this is one of the games to play it. High damage and a lot of frontline to stand in front of you. And now you've got the Azir to stand behind you as well and control those Sand Soldiers, do a whole host of damage. Order, very simple, very strong front-to-back type of composition. They've got the potential of a 1-4 with just the Aurelia.
Yep.
But overall, I would say good composition. I would say I like it a lot. And really, they should be very comfortable with what they picked for themselves. In saying that, Order up until this week have only really been successful on the longer ranged compositions. You know, the Zoes, the things that can outrange you. And now they've gone for the brawling team fight. And for me, this is a really good, I guess, second game in a row strength test on how good are they really doing it against a side like Direwolves, who started the split with weaker communication, but still very good team fighting.
And our final lock-in was Zoe to go into the mid lane into Azir. And there we go. Everyone has swapped into their respective positions, and we have this composition. So, yeah, we'll see what this game turns into, because you would say, just based on recent results, this looks like an Order favored matchup. Direwolves just feel like a very coin-flippy team at the moment, or always.
They are. Yes, Direwolves are a coin flip team. That's just how it has felt playing against them, though for their opponents. While there is consistency now, it hasn't always been there. So it is one of those games that you don't really know what's going to happen until you see the early game play out on the Rift. But in saying that, I would rather have Order's composition if I was an inconsistent team than I would Direwolves.
All right, well, as we get into game, it's time for some coach talk. How are you doing today, Choo-Choos?
Not bad. First game, so I'm a big fan of being the first game. We don't have to sit there and let the anticipation build up. So,
Sure.
yeah, I'm feeling good. Happy with the draft.
Happy with the draft? You feel like you got everything you wanted into this comp?
Yeah, like we were surprised that, well, they definitely had the Tahm Kench prepped into the Sejuani first pick, but we've been practicing the Braum response into that. I think our bot lane is like kind of a luxury situation. Dream is very fond of Vayne, and like we got the Aurelia Sejuani combo, so yeah, I'm quite happy.
And I'm sure, of course, you are happy with your composition. Your opponent's comp, is it a surprise where they've ended up in terms of their style right now? They've taken the Renekton as well for Biotop into Aurelia. Like, is there any matchups that are scary, perhaps, that you're against here?
I think the biggest thing that threw me off, or that I was impressed by, is that they opted into the Renekton Sylas early on, which showed that they were trying to match our team fight. But then they opted into Ezreal and Zoe in their 4-5 picks, which really gives them another win condition towards playing like really slow and I guess like poking us with range advantage. So there'll be a period in this game where we're forced to like make the first step, and Corporal and Tahm, like they'll be ready to disengage, and I think that was quite smart for them utilizing that counter pick on red side.
And speaking towards luxury situations, what do you think your best play would be then if you were to take that first step that you mentioned? Like, what opens the map for Order?
So we have Vayne will probably be a split pusher this game. They don't really have a good answer to it. Azir should have like a pretty rough time versus the Zoe, but we put a lot of attention towards making sure that like we can constantly be rotating towards mid, ensuring that the Zoe doesn't get out of hands, because that's probably the one champion that we're worried about. But if the game goes even, Sejuani should be able to get a good engage and we'll be happy.
Ooh, Jake, yeah, last looks like it's going to do it there from Corporal. I actually felt there wasn't going to be a kill there for a second, to be honest, but yeah, last lick from Tahm Kench will just finish it off.
And that does actually change a lot of the game. My next questions are kind of gone at this point. Like, you want stability down in the bottom lane. You want to bring the Sejuani down there. Things are a little bit wild now, and maybe the focuses do start to shift a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Like, a kill like that would change the entire game. So,
if you were in comms right now, Choo-Choos, what would you tell your bottom lane?
There's a saying we call it 7 out of 10, which is like if you're like losing, usually people get like a lot more stressed. But if you say just play a 7 out of 10, which is do your role, like don't soft lose, like don't necessarily have to push for anything. The draft will play out and the team will win. Just do your job and we'll be fine. So I would just tell them that, even when they're 1 kill down.
All right, fair. Well, thank you very so much for joining us, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
No worries. Thanks.
All right, yeah, let's get back into his bottom lane. So, yeah, early kill. Obviously, it doesn't feel great if you're a Vayne lane, but the kill did go onto the Tahm Kench, so it's not like the end of the world where the Ezreal's going to go first back, and he's like, and I have a Sheen now. So it's not the worst, but obviously not what you want from a scaling lane.
No, of course. And, you know, Tahm Kench being ahead is actually terrifying. You know, the Braum Vayne lane is really good at keeping a Tahm Kench at bay. And when you think about matchups, and, you know, this is something that we don't often speak pretty strictly towards in League. We just, you know, assume everyone understands what we're saying. If you say something is favorable. When you look at the Braum and Tahm Kench interactions, if Tahm Kench hits the tongue, slows you down, usually wants to follow through 2 more auto attacks, right? I'll hold the rest of that as we've got some fighting top lane.
Yeah, Ray's going for a little bit of a soft gank here. Not going to be burning any summons, just a bit of HP off of the Aurelia, but full corrupting potion stacks as well, so not going to hurt too much. However, Spook's coming in from the bottom side of the river here.
Got the
Got a
stun.
flash after Ray's as well.
Ooh.
Here comes Get Back in from the mid lane. Swiffer also following through. Ray's stunned down onto him. Spook's very low. We'll get a bit of health back off of that one. Get Back following through. Gets a kill on the backside of that fight.
Oh.
Flash out from Tally, response from Get Back. And Biopanther chasing down the Aurelia. Put to sleep here as well, but still has Swiffer in a favorable position to flash through. And I think Get Back kind of turned around to stay in range for those paddle stars.
And just the perfect amount of mana left there from Swiffer as well to get that one done. Perhaps Get Back lingers too long barely survived as it stood, stealing a flash that was on the ground to flash at the exact same time as his opponent. So barely scrapes himself to safety. The end result is actually favorable for Order, though barely, as it is a 2-for-1 trade. That first blood already going to the bot side of Direwolves will equalize the kills overall. But, you know, while we say the kills go in favor, Gold still swings a little bit towards Direwolves. And when you see this fight again, remember that Order are the ones who kick this off in response to Raze going top lane. Spooks gets annihilated in terms of his health bar here, and he's lucky to survive for as long as he does. Flashes go forwards to secure him, and Get Back gets the flash off the ground as Tally tries to lock him down. Bio also wakes up Tally instead of perhaps waiting for cooldowns for the kill. And Swiffer, with the perfect amount of mana, is able to hit that one home.
Yeah, Get Back actually just not committing to a single direction, actually just put him in range for Swiffer's auto attack. So yeah, it was a little bit off camera then. We can see it in the replay.
Always love walls. They do have a propensity to walk towards those, so sometimes it's a little bit predictable, and maybe the pathing isn't a straight line, and in Void you'll be like, okay, that's pretty silly. Could have just walked away, but you know, you think you could be useful at any time as Zoe, and you can if you play it perfectly, you know.
Spooks on his way to the top lane. Biopanther still level 5, will hit the Arctic Assault. Not sure they can get the stun though, and here comes Silas for the defense. Biopanther looking to maybe turn this one around though. Stun down onto the jungler, Raze very low. Follow through with the Q and the auto attack. Tally will pick up the kill on Biopanther. He has the Fury, but doesn't have the cooldowns anymore. And
he's
Spooks
got
and
a
Tally
minion
will get
wave
away with
though.
this.
Bio could hunt here, it's risky. He knows it's risky. I think the second Tally gets a Q off on those minions, stacks up his passive, it's too dangerous. So just wants to keep his health bar happy. Look towards catching this minion wave, but still another good play from Order. And that's the thing. A Sejuani Aurelia, dangerous in the 2v2. That's not something that gets better with time, as Swiffer.
That's a tower shot onto Get Back, and now he just has to walk through the Sand Soldier. Swiffer, what Conquering Sands just came up, but doesn't have the Shifting Sands to follow through onto Get Back.
He's able to steal enough spells off the ground to secure some speed. Spell Thieves to get away. It was the cleanse actually used by Swiffer that he was able to pick up. So I would say lucky to be alive, because he was able to hit the sleep in the first place. And end of the day, just a lot traded. I would say the Honey Fruit actually, however, would save this mid lane for Get Back by quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's all of his health and mana back. So good timing. And yeah, we'll walk back into the middle lane, but a little bit touch and go for a second. Both mid laners have no flash, no cleanse. But Get Back will get his cleanse back shortly.
Which is perfection for someone like a Sejuani, or even someone like a Silas when they steal the Sejuani ultimate. So mid lane should actually be quite a hot spot in the coming minutes, a place to focus for both of these teams potentially. And that usually is the state of the game in League of Legends. It's at least Vision that has to go towards mid lane, and it just gets more volatile with some of the spells being missing.
Yeah, Renekton in a bit of frustrating place right now into this. Aurelia has gone for double Doran's Blade into Doran's Shield, so really just trying to survive this laning phase.
Yeah, I'd say that's a little bit too much, actually, from Bio. Normally you can go for a Blade and a Shield, or you can go 2 Blades. You never go 2 Shields. You want to be relevant. But to go for 3 starting items, to have Boots 1, and to go for a refillable potion, he has no item slots. And he'll never have item slots unless he sells one of those Dorans really soon. And then it's just not an efficient purchase.
Yeah.
You know? So I would almost say that, you know, in retrospect, of course, I'm not sure exactly how he purchased these items. But if he didn't have one of those blades or that shield, he has completed Ninja Tabis and he's better for it anyway.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Renekton is one of those champions that's like a 2-item champion, right? And when you look at top lane, you have room to like double Dorans, but 3 Dorans really just kind of cripples you, because if you want to hold on to your pot, you know, there's no good option. You're going to have to sell something. Like, you combine the boots, and then you're like, well, if I can't complete my Phage for my back on Black Cleaver, then I just have a component, so.
It also means no control wards more than anything else, and that just sucks. To be a top laner and to not have a control ward means that you could be ganked more easily. To be the jungler of Direwolves in Raze and to try and gank top lane, you don't know if a bush is cleared. So now you have to sleep or, you know, potentially waste the sleeper to check, or control ward yourself, which means you can't use it on the rest of the map. And that's just if you want to gank top lane or help top lane at all. So to me, I see it as like, maybe get some vision for him and just leave him on his island. It's not a place that you need to fight for right now.
Yeah, Race is going to bump into Spooks into the jungle, though. Dodges out of the flail into the bottom lane, though. Corporal getting some damage onto
still fighting.
Jay. Yeah, top side. Swiffer backing off to the tower. Spooks potentially in kill range as the... I think that was Spell Thief, yeah. Great. Flashing after Swiffer. That kind
Oh,
of
he
traps
missed.
with Spooks as well. Here comes the Vanguard's Edge. Also misses. Raiders 1 versus 3. Tries to get the kill in return. Body block out from the Sejuani, but they both go down. Double kill coming in for Biopanther. Tally now backing away, but with this red buff, Renex is not going to let him off easily. Get back with the auto attacks, is able to chase him down, and Tally falls for the 3rd kill.
And they give the shutdown over to the Zoe as well. Very important and good kill distribution from Direwolves, as Bio already had 2, now 3-0-1 with that red buff. So suddenly, the top side matchup that looked like maybe you don't want to take the 2v2, Direwolves say, well, let's just make it a 3v3. And that's where the difference really is made here. Get Back level 7 has the blue buff, is actually in a really good spot in terms of his damage output. And Raze, you know, we mentioned this in Champ Select, but Silas loves being picked into Sejuani because you feel like a better version of that champion. And the rest of the Direwolves here with the health bars already missing from Order are able to just play very aggressively. Raze, unfortunately, is in an awkward spot, but the team gets back here in time to ensure that the trade goes in their favor. Bio comes through, very nicely played from him as well. And Get Back picks up another flash off the ground. Just a good day to be a Zoe with how much action is happening. Definitely going to die no matter what, and you can see very consciously they give the kill to Get Back.
Perfect trade coming out there, perfect cleanup. Spooks is on his way to the top side because this is now a 3-0-1 Renekton that Tally is having to deal with. Raze is also in the top side though, and this will be a 2 versus 2. Spooks appearing, Thermthrust comes across, Vanguard's Edge is good, onto 2. Raze low, Tally even lower though, they'll both be traded. Biopanther now chasing down onto Spooks to stun. And a slowdown, and Biopanther does not have his E to follow up, but still, another kill over to the Renekton.
And you know, at the end of the day, doesn't matter if you're 0-3 or if you're 0-4 as the Silas, as long as your Renekton is getting the kills. I would say that was worth it for Direwolves for certain, in the fact that top lane now gets another kill, so gets closer to his first item, which actually looks like he's going for the very aggressive build with the Shojin. And now gets turret plates as well, so an extra whole amount of money going over to him from that turret before 14 minutes.
Oof.
The difference in top lane grows, and how quickly that blew out of proportions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scary time when Renekton goes for first item, damage item, but you can do it if you have levels and you have money, basically, because you can just use Dominus as your tanky stats, essentially, in skirmishes.
Not to be a coach, but he still doesn't have a control ward.
Nobody has damage.
He has a shield. He could get rid of the shield now.
He could, but it's so efficient. It's so slot efficient.
It's so inefficient to sell it when you've had it for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, Raze will also get help from the Renekton onto this Herald, and this is just Direwolves really accelerating the top side of the map right here. It's 5 to 6 in terms of kills, but it's all top side weighted. Next you see a rotation from Katsuri and Corporal to the mid lane, putting some pressure onto mid lane tower.
Looks like got to be a plate. They might just settle with the one. Herald actually summoned,
yeah.
so they're going to go for the whole shebang. They want the tower right now. Sejuani a blue buff. Braum also not here, and Vayne visible pushing bot lane. Means that this tower is free. And again, before 14 minutes, so brilliant stuff here from Direwolves. Their gold lead stretches a lot.
I mean, that's just overflow in a nutshell, right? When you're a Zia mid lane, the champion who should be able to just keep mid lane tower up for like 50 minutes of the game, and you're like, well, there's Herald and bot lane. So I guess I just lose. Tally on the top side, going to be put to sleep. Here comes the Paddle Star, lots of damage. Plus Raze will finish him off.
And that
Another
just
nice
felt
pick.
so easy, didn't it? They just take the kills, and good play from Direwolves overall. Bit of a redemption to pick up here as well. So top lane turret falls after the kill. Order just being run around on the rift. They're just slow to the rotations, and maybe it's not even slow sometimes. They just can't react, and they're still being punished for it.
This is really rough. Trying to make a play happen in the bot side. Spooks clears out the ward, but I mean, this is not really die potential right now. Full health Corporal on Katsuri. And Silas just rotating through the lanes, and Order really just trying to play catch-up. But, I mean, the fact that mid lane tower and top lane tower drops at 13 minutes into the game is a huge deal from Direwolves.
Yeah, it's a 10-plate boon for them. That is a big deal. Now, I will say that for Order, while we've been speaking a lot about Direwolves starting to really push ahead, they have a Vayne that has been free farming, you know, gets towards that first item. That's really important. They also have a 2-1 mid laner in an Azir that will be scaling. First item done. Wants to get towards 2, maybe 3 items. You know, Zoe controls the lane decently well for now, but that starts to get harder and harder as the game goes. And the Sejuani is always relevant to pick someone like a Zoe off to start those team fights. And with the alpha, like, hard split push type build, just a lot of damage coming out of Biopanther. At a certain point, Vayne still 1v1s you. and you know, can take you down really quickly with the DPS output. So there are things here that Order can look towards, but a lot of what I've mentioned right now, it feels like it's scaling based.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the horizon, right? You can see it, and it's a speck in the distance, and you're like, that is the oasis we're trying to push towards, but between you and there is a crocodile. And that crocodile is currently level 11 with Shojin completed and just a full stack of Dorans.
It's just so many Dorans, man.
But if you just think about how strong Renection is, like having level 11 at this phase of the game when Tally is level 9, I mean, like, this is not something that Irelia can deal with by herself, not at Triforce. The Get Back playing towards bottom side of the lane will not be afflicted by a Spook Skank. And yeah, the elephant in the room, or I guess the crocodile in this case, is that you will need to do something about the Renekton in the near future. It does appear like Order are going to try and do something about it.
It's hard to do in terms of going for this dragon. Teleport advantage belongs to Direwolves. It's only just going to be available for Tally now. But turret plating has dropped. However, this play is still nice for them to try and open up a side of the map. You know, it's a trade. It may not be the most favorable trade if you look at what Direwolves are going to do to bot side as well straight after. But it is a trade. And when you're behind, that is still a good way to play League of Legends to get items and money for your team. So that was a lot of damage.
Yes, it was.
Oh!
Oh, and that's just 2 Paddle Stars into dead there. Well played by Get Back. Just a nice snipe on the backside, and that will also be a tower falling. And Direwolves pushing onto the second tower with a minion wave.
Yeah, and while we say the trade may not be favorable, it really gets blown out once again. Get Back with some fantastic play on this Zoe. Just able to lock down the kill, uses his real flash for it, so confidence play. As that, I believe, is just a zoning ultimate out from Raze. He had the Braum as the engage is on.
Ooh, Vanguard comes in. Corporal backing off on the Tam Kench. Swiffer from the
Dream
top side.
with a flank.
Looking for the... Oh, lands onto 3. Dream with the flank as well. Raze is going to fall. This Assassin in the backline. Vayne's just going ham. Goes into the Zhonya's. Tally chasing down, but the rest of the team is very low. Get Back. Flashing forward, puts the Sejuani to sleep, but in comes Jake with a big shield. Get Back will drop to the tower. Shutdown comes in for Tally, and now the Irelia just gets a clean up house right here with the Blade Surge. Triple kill.
They get a triple kill for Tally, and Order somehow on the back foot get themselves the ace. I mean, I'm looking forward to the replay that we get to see, but Order back in the game well and truly with an Assassin backline flank from Dream on a Vayne. That's not something you ever expect to see, but he teleports into the back line. He's fully prepared to go, and Swiffer hits the flash ultimate on 3 targets to kick the fight off while he dies. That was a big deal. Minion wave also helps a whole lot here for surviving, and a good flash from Dream. Now Get Back. Welcome to Zoe Syndrome. Flashes into a Braum ultimate because he has a flash, and just gets one hit for it from the Braum. Jake being here, you know, respawns, good timing, sprints back to the lane, but Order did all of the good work for that to happen, to buy the time for Dream to, for Jake to get there in the first place. You know, Dream with a flank.
Yeah, Assassin Vayne comes in, kills 2 targets. And from there it was essentially just an overcommit, a second overcommit from Direwolves into 5 members dead. Ace coming in at 16 minutes. And all that momentum we were just talking about Direwolves having, you know, this is a team that's literally sieging in a turret, right? Pre-20 minutes. Is now pretty stalled out. And we're talking about the scaling of a Vayne and a Zia, and a Irelia who's very far behind, just picked up a triple kill, 5-3-3.
But here's the thing. I think Order played that very well. You know, we mentioned the engage they had. They also had a Sejuani and Irelia stunning people constantly. It was a triple for Tally in the end. But did Direwolves need to be there? Is the question that you would have to ask as well. Because they'd already traded up. They had the Infernal, they had a kill, they had a turret. Same like Dream right now. Do they need to be where they are?
Maybe not.
Probably not. But they were, and they get punished for it. And that's the thing. Order punished well, but it takes safe hands to catch a good throw.
That's true. Your arms need to be up to catch a throw.
They were prepared for it.
And they were indeed. Yeah, that was a 1-for-1 it looked like. Bypuffer did drop in that one as well.
It was a bot side trade. So cross map 1-for-1.
Oh, okay. They both just died in the distance.
It's just a really weird game to be a top laner. Like, Biopanther, out of lane completely.
Yeah.
Can't lane, suddenly has 1,000 gold lead, just wins the lane. Suddenly is dying to the Irelia again. So
I mean, the numbers don't add up, right? The amount of kills in the top lane versus the deaths do not add up.
All of the fights have been like 3 kills for a top laner. So Tally, he'll get his 4-stack passive off those minions from the looks of it as well. He'll be pretty well equipped to take the fight here. And really, this is just the life you lead when you're against a Sejuani Irelia.
Yeah.
It was still close, that's for certain, but there's only so much you can do before you're perma-stunned.
Yeah, very close to a kill onto Aurelia, but it wasn't a fair fight. It was 2 versus 1. Renex is still working his way towards that second item. I imagine very close, to be honest. Very close to that Black Cleaver. He needs 850 gold.
Ooh, the Azir ultimate.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Sejuani ult's on cooldown, because that's a weird one. If they're next
for
to each
Silas,
other.
you mean? Yeah.
For Silas to steal. We don't get to see the indicators, I believe.
I would assume yes.
No, we do. We can see the
Oh, you can
indicators.
see it on- yeah.
It's available.
Just take the Sejuani off.
So perhaps he is suspecting that Order will come towards them.
Yeah.
And that flank Vayne will not actually get anything off this time. He's ready.
Katsuri putting a lot of damage on towards Swiffer, however.
Yeah, they can't
There's
do
one hit
Baron.
now. Yeah. They're still posturing around this area. Corporal's actually stepping up.
Zoe was bot lane. So right now, they're waiting for the rotation from the Zoe before they move aggressively for Vision. Is now in the mid lane as they start to step up.
My.
But Order are waiting and they didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, Corporal was literally breathing distance away, but did not choose to go in. Blocking the paddle style there. Clearing out wards once again. Order are completely starving the direwolves of Vision right now. Dragon has also just spawned. This is a potential rotation.
They have started this.
Literally two-manning it right here, Order.
There's no blue trinkets to check it. They're actually at the Infernal Drake right now, and that's the
pings.
gambit. They are sacrificing a second Infernal to Direwolves to try and sneak this Baron away. Direwolves are aware. It's at 5,000 health. Can they get here and stop this?
Fire Panther waiting to go in with the Blast Cone. Here he goes. 1,000 HP remaining. There comes the Smite out from the Sejuani. Order just need to get out of this one with Barons intact. The ultimate from Ezreal goes right through the
Fire's
wickets.
back in.
Managed to find Tally. Maybe he's just a sacrificial Aurelia right here, allowing the rest of the team to escape. Dreams locking onto Corporal, but he's also caught out. Goes into the Tongue Lash.
Oh, they got him.
The rest of the team. They found him. 3 Barons down there for Direwolves, and Spooks is on the run, but Jake managed to get back to base alive, so there is still one member.
He won't be able to recall, surely, but he is
just
going
needs
to
to
try
keep
and
4
play the
seconds.
do-si-do. We'll do some circles around this bush for a while.
Unfortunately, Silas is coming.
Biopanther's been juked, but he's waiting for his team. Spooks, where to go?
Yeah, there is nowhere to go. He's just trying to buy time. Gotta commit Sudoku. There we go.
Y'all can't have me, the tower will. 4 kills, 4 Barons taken away. Most importantly, Dials, they got the Infernal Dragon and the 4 kills. That gold actually is pretty big in terms of a boon for Direwolves and their strength after that. The 1 Baron remaining is very important. The fact that they got one means that they can try and force some trades back with the buff. But really, you look at the state of this, Zoe had already half health Swiffer before the Baron is taken away. They've got so much chase. Order, they're running towards an area where there is walls that a Zoe will be able to utilize, and the mobility of Direwolves will get around. And, you know, from this point, the Tahm Kench also getting in there with his ultimate, having the stopwatch, can't get the trade. It's just another kill, and then unfortunately for Spooks, we won't watch that because it took too long. Jackety sacks his way around the enemy jungle, trying to
cuts it 8 times
survive
there.
for as long as he can.
Yeah, Direwolves still 4 kills on the backside, and yeah, you can see Order are actually just not even grouping up with the Braum Baron here, so not going to get too much off of this Baron play whatsoever.
Yeah, he's actually hovering to protect the Vayne as he split pushes. Makes you wonder if he's like close to a stopwatch, but he's already used one, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Whoa! Oh, Azir going in right there onto get back. 3 versus 3 into the mid lane. Corporal grabs the Zoe, flashes over the wall. Tahm Kench also flashing away. Raze jumps into the fight though.
He's going.
Maybe cross comms, but that was a massive amount of damage coming out from the Ezreal. Tally and Dream taken out of the fight, and Biopanther trying to catch up to the play. He's caught Sejuani. Katsuri will find the kill.
Order choose to make the play. It was a flash engage, I believe, from Swiffer as well. It was hard to tell with the animation bug, but they look for the moment. They don't get the Zoe. And because Zoe survives, they get to turn around Direwolves. Now they don't have anything slowing them down. So many health bars lacking. And they just push forwards and get a turret. The gold lead stretches. And that wasn't really all of Order looking for the play.
No.
It was 2 key members searching for that moment. Tally and Swiffer were the ones actually hunting. And that was with Dream and Jake just in rotation. Sejuani on the way looking for the moment. But they don't get the kill with the damage, and that's it.
Yeah, there were also 2 members of Direwolves just out of vision. It was just like trying to go for a quick pick by Swiffer, but a little over-aggressive. Finds the Zoe, though. Get back.
He may get this.
He's got Conquering Sands. Only one just pokes Zoe's leg as she walks away.
You know the tragedy of Azir is that the Sand Soldiers tend to path in a particular order when there's more than one up. So they take a fan-out pattern, right? And because of the order of his Sand Soldiers that he'd placed down, the one that hit last was the one that he wanted to go first.
Yes.
So the middle soldier went last. That's really tragic. That's just the thing that happens with Azir. May have been a difference. I would say maybe not the kill, but
Maybe not in this
earlier
case, but,
slow down, higher chance.
Yeah, there's always a chance, but a little bit frustrating either way. Will not pick up the kill, and I was going to say after the back of that last trade, was picked up that second Infernal, essentially in trade for the Baron plus the kills. Direwolves now pushing into this bottom side jungle, and you know, I think for a moment Direwolves like lost the ball, they fumbled it, but have well and truly just gotten back
Jake
into the driver's seat.
Also heavy hovering Dream at all moments, but only one of them has teleport. It's not an unsealed spellbook Braum, so...
What was the term he used? Helicopter parent?
Yeah, he's being a helicopter parent. Sometimes my teaching terminology does come into play. Of course, it happens.
It's a good term.
But yeah, only one of them having teleport means that they have to be much more cautious in the rest of the map order. They can't really force anything. They just respect and, you know, try and eke out anything they can. They snuck away their own red buff before Dials got there. They're also sneaking away this mid wave before the pressure can be really put down onto them. And the thing that Chuchu's mentioned in the coach interview is that Dream can split push, and most likely will become a split pusher still. You know, very close to his third item. It's going to be very hard to deal with in any 1v1 from any of the members here of Direwolves. But how do you hold the rest of the map, you know? Azir turret buys some time. That's true. Braum Door will do a lot of work in stopping the Ezreal poke, which will be nice. At a certain point, you just get forced on. You know, the next Baron that spawns, probably the key moment of this game for me. As the who comes out on top, and if Direwolves get it, you'd expect that they can break open and prevent any split pushing on the map. If the Order get it, they buy enough time, and their composition, you know, as long as 4 of them don't die for it, is very strong.
No, it definitely feels like Direwolves, you know, in a comp like this, you want to stay ahead of the curve to remain relevant, to still be able to go for these forced plays. And Renekton, I feel like it's gradually getting to that point where, you know, there's just too many things to do. It's just like, you go in, up, there's a Azir wall. There's Condemned by Vayne. I just can't get in on this. And needs that first slice to really get into the backline.
Well, yeah, or teleport flanks probably is the best way to
exactly.
really navigate that if you were Direwolves. No teleport, of course, available to him now, so not easy to do.
Which is frustrating, because 10 seconds to Baron.
Yeah. Teleport an advantage in that regard for Order, as they were the ones hitting the Baron. They'd rotated to it the first time as well.
Now Spooks also joining fellow helicopter.
They saw that ward. Ray spotted it, so knows that there's people there. Oh, are you sure?
Oh, no. Yeah, steps up, immediately sees 3 people into the brush, goes into the stopwatch, but get back, he's trying to provide a bit of support here. It is enough with Corporal also arriving with the Abyssal Voyage.
He is lucky to be alive.
Yes, he is.
He just saw the ward placed and decided, you know what, this is it.
But Azir going in, once again, finds Corporal alone. Raze cannot get in range at all. Losing the support here, Direwolves as Baron has spawned.
I would put a lot of caution towards this Baron still if I was Order. Know that an Ezreal with 3 completed items, the AP build, the Zoe as well, being around the objective makes it nearly impossible to do. You'd want to continue to bait, potentially find a target, or push them somewhere else before you look at starting that Baron. Now note that they'll do it incredibly quick with a Vayne, with Blade of the Ruin King, and a Gwynzoo's, and an Azir, and 1 Mountain Dragon to boot.
Yeah.
So they take it very fast, but I'd never feel safe really hitting it if an Ezreal and a Zoe are both in position to harass you as you start it.
Ray's almost caught in the net there. Swiffer came in with the Emperor's Divide, and that probably would have been the catalyst for it, but not the case, and Direwolves just fight another day. Now, pretty much going back to the mid lane, bit of an arrow shaping up here. You can see all of Direwolves actually moving towards the mid lane. And vision is now being cleared by Spooks around Baron.
Yeah,
It's actually only Ward in that tri-bush.
Order have had pretty good vision control this game in general. You know, like their presence on the map regarding the objectives has been felt. While their vision themselves, there's not a lot of wards here. They are still present in the area. Exhibit A. I'm going to sweep in and ensure the river is controlled. The sacrifice for river control can sometimes be mid lane priority, but the Azir Tower does buy a lot of time to be able to perhaps get the rotation between those lanes. Direwolves, however, they have said you can't get here fast enough, and they're going to look to hit this turret, potentially.
Yeah, caught out of the... Tally taking a lot of damage. Jake comes to his rescue, though. Swiffer clearing out the minion wave and the True Shot barrage. Yeah, Tally will probably going back to base off that one, and Direwolves maybe just getting all of the vision at the very least here into the jungle was a big deal. For the first time in the game, I feel like Direwolves actually had control over an area in terms of vision.
Yeah, really important play here from Direwolves, and it's... All right, Raze, you all right, bud?
You hate to see it.
He's got honey fruit, it's okay. So the reason that play is so important from Direwolves is that mid priority is the avenue to Baron vision and Baron control. Same thing applies for Dragon, of course, but mid lane is the Silk Road to objectives. And the fact that they're able to actually command control of the mid lane and force order back into their inhibitor turret gives them free access to the map. And that's the way that you break open this game against a side like Order, who have very clearly been prioritizing their river control over most other things in this game right now. As Katsuri just used his dash. Swiffer.
Oof, this is going to be a lot of damage out from the Azir. Next to the Q, Corporal getting called out essentially for Ezreal's sins. Raised in from the side, but Corporal dead
Dream
once again.
flash.
Dream is on the hunt right now for Katsuri, but
no.
he is about to be put to sleep. He is very much drowsy. In comes Swiffer for the save, though. And maybe that was just the greatest bait of the century. Panther chasing onto Dream, though, assassinates him, looking for his support as well. Out
That's
with
a
the slice,
second.
in with the dice. And now Swiffer hopping the wall, dancing around this Renekton. Now he's trying to back away. Spooks is also cutting off get back with the assist here. Panther. I mean, he's out of Shojins.
I mean, he may just 1v9 them if he gets his spells off. He's
Gonna
just
try,
gone.
forces the flash out from Swiffer. He jumps away, has the shield though, and Spooks will eventually put down the Croc.
The summoner spell's been a little bit too much there for Order in the end. They're able to get the kill. Now 4 dead. And like you mentioned, Corporal's the first to die, but it's for the sins of Katsuri, who just stands there and cops half of his health bar from Swiffer and uses his E. So it's just really good to go forwards here. Dream, I will say, very alpha that he chooses to flash forwards here without vision. So just gets the one auto off and is cancelled. But the Azir comes in, saves him with a fantastic ultimate to prevent Raze from following through. And really the saving grace here for Direwolves is that Panther's got the teleport into a very good position, is able to lock down 2 kills, and that pretty much saves the day, saves the Baron as well, because they have to spend all of their resources into just chasing him down, as he was the only free thing left on the map.
But these fights are very back and forth. It's almost both teams come out with casualties, so no one is really able to secure Baron after it.
This is getting really hard. You know, one thing we mentioned when Direwolves had an advantage, Pulse, was that Order just want to scale to 3 items, and they've got it.
Yeah.
So in terms of BAP scaling, Swiffer will 1v9 if he's not actually contested in any team fights early. And when you look at Direwolves' comp, it's not heavy dive. It's not a Sejuani that goes in and, you know, locks him down. It's a Sylas that can be killed. And it's a Zoe and an Ezreal that want to poke.
Yeah, Direwolves are unfortunately just running out of steam here. This is a Renekton who is really just trying to do his best on, well, in the last fight, on the backside of the fight, but we won't always have the answers. And Spook's just standing here, trying to keep control of the area. Baron is still up.
It's the calm before things get really hard, though. 3 minutes and 45 seconds until there's 2 major objectives available. It's very easy to put your focus around the single major objective of the Baron, and these types of dances can go forever. You know, both teams are playing cautiously enough, and no one feels like they can make the big plays. You know, Direwolves side, hit a bubble. Could be one thing that you really start to look towards, but Swiffer has the cleanse. There's a QSS there for Dream. Jake can tank 1 Q for free as well and take 0 damage from it. Hard to actually get your way through. The rest of that is the team fighting that you've got with a Sylas and a Renekton, who is 7-3.
Yeah.
But to start that fight off, very hard to do. We mentioned almost the necessity for a teleport flank, and you could see the validity in that for Bio in the last fight, but his team was already dead. And now he doesn't have the teleport to flank at all.
Yeah, doesn't have the teleport. He's pushing the way, but yeah, will rejoin the team. Dream is down there with him, but he has the teleport on his vein, so he is able to join the team when necessary. And we've already seen that Dream is also happy to flank as the Vayne, so he will also look for those wards. Direwolves have to stick together. Good block there by
They are
engaging. Found
engaging.
Swiffer. He'll jump away with the Conquering Sands.
Good poke.
Spooks getting chased out here. Katsuri, ooh, good return there, but Spooks will have to back off. Burns the ultimate, and Direwolves in a great position to maybe take this tower. Raze steps forwards, but dodges the Vanguard's edge. Dream off to the side, poking away. And there's a lot of just errant skill shots flying through right now. And Direwolves did have position, but they've run
Straight
out
back
of a
to
minion
Baron,
wave.
though.
Yeah. Clearing out the jungle first, though.
Yeah, I don't think you commit to the fight at the turret. You give too much agency to someone like Swiffer on the Azir to make the plays. So they'll retreat back towards the Baron area. They swept through the blue buff quadrant of the map to get vision. Or to know, obviously, that it's not a safe place. And so they've just sprinted down mid lane to get wards where they can. And now that they've spotted people on the disengage here, they've seen the Tahm Kench moving. Spooks goes into the side lane bush to try and get some control. If they call the bluff, if they know the dials are just reset, the map is in a free state for Order to get control of mid, get some Baron vision, and they'll be able to do that right now with everyone showing mid, if they want. Except that Vayne is bot.
Yeah, get back though if one of those paddle stars hits. That's over half of the health of the carry gone in an instant. Looking at Azir though, he is very close to a very big spike in the death cap.
Yeah, that's huge for him, right? And he actually is about 400 gold away from that. And of course, when I mentioned Dream going bot lane to split push, his item spikes are very clearly has a lot of money in the kitty that he can't spend just yet on his complete item. He wants to keep the control ward slots, and can I just say I respect that. So he's about 500 gold away from the Mercurials. As a fight top.
Yeah, by Panther Core, maybe the other way around right here. Dream's getting pulled in, he'll drop, Corporal's chasing after, Tally's going to fall as well, double kill on the top side. And in response, well, it's Get Back getting called out by Order as he transition to top lane, but still a 2-for-1 trade. Direwolves will take it.
Swiffer has no resources, however, so in terms of contesting this Baron, I would say that it's impossible for them. Best case scenario is Sejuani sacrifices the steal, but the vision control is too complete from Direwolves to allow that to happen. So Baron goes over, and it seems like it was just a case of Tally being caught topside and Dream teleporting to help him almost instantly, but both dying for it, just gives over the objective. And that was like 2,000 gold in the pockets of Dream when the fight started. You know, that was not a position where you would say they wanted to be fighting at all. So Direwolves must have kicked that off.
Well, we'll see in the replay for sure, but yeah, we had that dance for such a long time, and it's just like, and suddenly top lane's dead.
With Elder up as well.
Yeah.
So this is not just a Baron
This
push.
is worst case scenario.
This coincides timing for both objectives being there. You know, Order, they're back alive, they've respawned, they're on the map. Mercurials is finally done for Dream, so he's got the big item, he spent all of his money. But Baron should be able to secure enough control for the Elder to be taken as they are hunting.
Get a pick into the mid lane. They're looking towards Katsuri, but the minion wave's going to help them out. Corporal cleanses through it, grabs the Ezreal, and that's a lot of ults used here by Order. Direwolves may look for the re-engage. By Panther shoved away, but this is 3 key ultimates down from Order now. If they can get the chase, Direwolves, this will be a big win for them. They take down the tank. Tally caught in place, and Order cut their losses, and they back on out. Tally's down. Jake trying to get back to his tower, but he's slowed down by Katsuri. Has to force the flash here. 2 kills to Direwolves. This is at least an objective for them. They're looking towards mid lane.
Yeah, you go mid lane inhibitor, maybe try and threaten for some more, but mid lane inhibitor Elder Dragon is the free objective they can back out towards. Very good once again from Direwolves. Teleports very dangerous when Biopanther has it up. They are hunting for the end. 3 people here. Swiffer still alive. Can they do it?
20 seconds on Spooks. Throws out the Emperor's Divide, but Biopanther's made it into the backline. Chasing Dreams down, but takes down support first. And only Dream is alive. 1 versus 3. Nexus turret's down. Looking towards Get Back. Flash forwards. Corporal with the save. Katsuri trading up, but the Nexus is down. And Direwolves will take it.
The swift end coming out of the Direwolves once they get the Baron buff. Looking like a dangerous team once again as they come in on the Saturday. And after a shaky Friday performance where the Chiefs smashed them in under 30 minutes, I think it was 24 minutes, they come in, they get the win over Order, and they beat the win streak from Order.
Yeah, they beat the win streak. It was hard fought as well. You know, it looked like they were going to run out of steam, but Direwolves just were tenacious and managed to finish off the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was an impressive performance from Direwolves overall, and
yeah,
it wasn't the cleanest game of League of Legends.
No, it was not.
One thing that you could say, but their teleports were fantastic. When they were making the plays, they did look like a good team. It's that they still had those cracks where Order were able to play very good League of Legends of their own and actually pierce through that and look for some opportunities to make those moments. You know, Tally in a good spot suddenly falls behind again, but he was in a good spot. And, you know, these things to be considered. Swiffer still looks like he's having almost a career best form, even in defeats, you know, in general, playing very good League of Legends again. And these are still a lot of positives that you can take away if you were Order.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But at the same time, I feel like things are just starting to click now for the Direwolves. Like, I'm looking at these teleports from Biopanther, and I feel like so often, even before, these last 2 weeks, it's like Biopanther will go in, and it's just like, what's he going to... And he's dead. But now it's like when he teleports, he's the person cleaning up on the backside.
He's also the difference maker for me. When I looked at Direwolves earlier in the split, and even last split, Bio was someone that had a lot of hype behind him, and you expect these big things from him.
Yeah.
I would say his first split was really shaky compared to what you know. But this last week to me has been like a reinvigorated version of Biopanther, and it is very refreshing to see that come from him again.
Yeah, for sure. Every time a teleport comes in, something big's going to go down. Well, for now, we're going to send it over to Couch for a player interview.
Get back, get back, get back. We finally meet.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm Nick.
I'm Jared. Nice to meet you.
You too. I did say yesterday on the show that you're my favorite direwolf.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I always enjoy watching you guys play, and I think today's a great example as to why. So back and forth, you never know what you're going to get from you guys. And as Rusty said, after yesterday's game, to come back and be able to just like push through and get this victory, you must be feeling great.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It's like I almost felt a bit of a buff coming in today. We've gone 1-1 every week.
Yep.
So after we lost yesterday, I kind of came in feeling like we couldn't lose, even though it's the worst
Right.
mental ever. So just looking to pick up my first 2-0, but yeah, it's definitely good to come back and bring in the win.
And I mean, split one, you had 1 win and 20 losses, and you're now equal fourth with Bombers as of right now.
Yeah.
What have you guys done? I mean, obviously brought in some imports, but as a team collectively, how have you sort of been working to get to the headspace that you're at right now?
So last split was a very big challenge because we were a bunch of rookies and Brandon Biopanther only had 1 split.
Mm-hmm.
And after coming in and sorry, let me go again. After 1 split, he because we're all
That's okay. No. Yeah, it was.
had to
You're
gather my
brand new
thought.
to the OPL.
It was very hard to learn. Like, this is what I'm trying to get at. So when you come in and you have these new players like Brandon in his first split with Direwolves, he had all these veterans around him like King, Cupcake, et cetera, who were able to teach him a lot of things in game.
Yeah.
Whereas we came in and we're all kind of like headless chickens.
Yeah.
So we had to learn a lot, and he took a big leadership role. But coming in this split, having the imports like Reyes, Totoro, etc., having them around and being able to talk to them about so many things really elevated all of us. You could see even Corporal coming in this week to play instead of Totoro. He's improved an insane amount. He's hit top 10 recently when he was 200 LP all of last OPL. I've improved a bunch. It's just having veterans around you to help foster you is really been the big difference this split, I think.
And that's totally true. But also, you're now a veteran. You went through 1 split, so even if you're not necessarily have been playing that much in the OPL years to years, at least you got through that first stage of like, okay, this is what it's like here. This is how it feels, and you sort of know more what to expect.
Yeah, there's a lot of when you come in for your first split and sit in for your first game, there's a lot of nerves. Generally, I've noticed people go one way or the other. They're either too scared to do anything or they feel like they have to do a lot and they try and go really hard. And that's what I was like. If you look at most of my first games, it involved me diving in as a Kali or something and killing myself because I felt like I needed to show something. So, yeah, it's a big difference coming in even this split.
And you feel like you've been able to manage that better now?
Oh, yeah. I feel way more comfortable coming in this split. It was a bit nervous to come back at the start because after, of course, going 1-20, there's the thought in the back of your head saying, I don't want to repeat that. I want to do something different. But after maybe the first week, I felt pretty comfortable on stage.
Well, now you've got the new thing of you go 1-1 every week, so at
Yeah,
least you know
it's
you're going to
awesome.
get 1 win a week. Before I let you go, it was your birthday a couple of days ago.
It was
How old did you turn?
20.
What'd you do?
I scrimmed,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
explicitly remember playing one of the worst games I've ever played on my birthday. So that was an awesome memory in scrims.
That's
but,
terrible.
It's fantastic, man. So, no, I went and one of my friends, she made me a little shuckle. It was very cute, and they brought in a cake for me on my birthday, and they came into the office. And so, besides that, just scrimmed, had some friends around, and just kept up practice, really.
No rest for the wicked. All right, well, congratulations on the win. I look forward to seeing you back here for 1 game next week. That's Get Back, and we'll be back after this break.
that I believe is just a zoning ultimate out from Raze. He had the Braum as the engage is on.
Ooh, Vanguard comes in. Corporal backing off on the Tam Kench. Swiffer from the
Dream
top
with a
side.
flank.
Looking for the... Oh, lands onto 3. Dream with the flank as well. Razor's going to fall. This Assassin in the backline. Veins is going ham. Goes into the Zonia's. Tally chasing down, but the rest of the team is very low. Get back. Flashing forward. Puts the Sejuani to sleep. But in comes Jake with a big shield. Get back will drop to the tower. Shutdown comes in for Tally. And now the Red just makes a clean up house right here with the Blade Surge.
Dash Swiffer.
This is going to be a lot of damage out from the Azir. Next to the Q, Corporal getting called out essentially for Ezreal Sins. Raised in from the side, but Corporal dead
Dream
once again.
flash.
Dream is on the hunt right now for Katsuri, but
no.
he is about to be put to sleep. He is brainless drowsy. In comes Swiffer for the save though. And maybe that was just the greatest bait of the century. Panther chasing onto Dream though, assassinates him, looking for his support as well. Out with the slice, in with the dive.
People here, Swiffer still alive. Can they do it?
20 seconds on Spooks, throws out the Emperor's Divide, but Panther's made it into the backline, chasing Dreams down, but takes down support first. And only Dream is alive. 1 versus 3. Nexus turret's down, looking towards
gonna
get
have
back,
to
flashing
go.
forwards. Corporal with the save. Katsuri trading off, but a Nexus is down. And Direwolves will...
At Macca's, our burgers are now hotter, juicier, and tastier, with onions added at the grill for more flavour, perfectly melted cheese, and softer buns. They're the best Macca's burgers ever.
Welcome back. Look, from a neutral perspective, that was a real fun game to watch.
Yeah, that was actually a great game. And I think that both teams kind of showed you the best and worst of what they have to offer, like in the same game. Because I was really impressed with some of the turns that Direwolves were able to pull off when it looked like members are being caught out. You know, a couple of team fights in the mid lane especially, you know, the one where it looks like Katsuri's caught, very nice flank coming in from Biopanther, very good angles being worked from Get Back in that, being able to trade really efficiently. And a lot of those team fights, like Order would have run over in the past, but Direwolves were able to just pick up, you know, 1 or 2 kills, delay a Baron. You know, when Baron did go down, they were able to pick up a lot of the trailing kills and they stuck at it and be able to like persevere there. There were some holes in their vision and things like that, but I think that was a real gutsy win. And those kinds of wins tell you a lot about a team, because if you can win that way, that means in a best of 5, you know, those 50-50 games that are so crucial in being able to take out a best of 5. Now, all of a sudden, if you're a Direwolves fan, you have a lot more faith that they can take one of those games against someone like, you know, a Bombers or Avant to really try and make that gauntlet run.
And this is something that Tian was talking about yesterday when he was saying that Direwolves was really scary to go up against, was for a lot of these reasons. All right. I'm overflowing with questions.
Oh, no.
Her boyfriend and I broke up over... That's the wrong graphic. That's just definitely the wrong graphic. We're just gonna weirdly play the trailer. I'm overflowing with questions.
Take 2.
Blah.
No.
Blah.
Nothing if not professional.
Welcome to the Nick Bag. This is, of course, where we answer your questions, such as, where did the graphics card go for half an hour? That's a good one. We'll answer anything. Relationship advice, parent advice, advice for children from parents, advice about relationships with parents. Any questions, basically, that relate to relationships and parents. Weirdly enough, though, none of those so far. Also, Bryce, if you're watching, and I assume, like, if you were sick, would you watch this?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good lie. Bryce, if you're
I'll watch
watching...
the games, I'll mute the segment.
How dare you? How dare you?
No, because
you
I'm
can
not
always just catch up the scores online. You can't recap this magic.
I'm not our target audience. I
That's
love
true.
League of Legends.
That's true. But wait. You love me, though.
That is actually true. I do love you.
Yeah, and so there's a confluence there. All right, the Nick Bag. First question comes in from Luke. Sorry, my point before was Bryce sending the question. Hi, Nick Boy. My gripe, and this was actually a gripe from yesterday when I asked to send in gripes, and I found this one weird. My gripe is the fact that you never responded to my generous offer to cook you bolognese sauce with the pasta of your choice for the crew at MEO. I just want to feed the boys. Life cooking is fun.
Well,
Yep.
bolognese, worst spaghetti sauce ever.
What?
Mince, trash tier.
Lamb mince?
Trash.
What? No.
Trash.
That's basically all they eat in Italy.
No. Pasta needs to be cooked with bones.
What?
If your meat does not have a bone in it, it does not maketh the pasta.
But how? Do you put it in the bones serve up in the sauce?
No, so what you do? Here you go. Do you
How
want
do
to
you
learn?
know this isn't how he's cooking bolognese, all full of bones?
Because bolognese is mince.
Yeah, but you could put some bones in there and just take them
Nah.
out.
So what you do is you get like ossobuco or something like that.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's the shin of a cow. And then you brown it either side.
Yep.
And then you take it out. You deglaze the pan with some wine. And you put all your stuff in.
Yep.
Then you put your meat back in and you slow cook it for like 3-4 hours.
Yep.
And then you you just scoop the meat out
Yep.
and then you shred it with 2 forks. And then all the bones are obviously out.
Yep.
Then you re-add the meat. You stir it through. And then you make your pasta al dente. Your water also needs to taste like the ocean. People real scared of salt.
So I have a question about that. Why do you add the salt to the water, and why do people add oil to water? Is it to
So
heat it up
oil is
faster?
no sticking.
No sticking.
Yeah, it's a myth. Like, don't do it. It's just bullshit. And salt is flavor.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
But because you're boiling it in salt, like you actually need salt in there.
Yep.
Like, I'm not talking like a little. I'm talking about like get your cooking salt, put
Yeah.
a handful, and chuck it in there. It needs to taste like the ocean.
Put in salt. You haven't put in enough salt. Put in more salt.
Yeah. Also, with all due respect, I wouldn't eat something made by a fan because I secretly think you all want to poison me.
That's kind of why I brought it up as well. This wasn't some referendum on whether bolognese is the best sauce or not, and it is. There's no way I would accept a meat dish from one of you monsters.
I wouldn't even accept a cake, and I've actually been in the awkward position before where people have like made me a cake,
And like it
I've,
could be order themed or something.
yeah,
It's like a
and
lot of effort
I'll take
has
a
gone into
lovely
this.
photo with it. Like
Yeah.
I'll thank them for the cake, but with like just being a very nervous person about like some stupid stuff happens in the world nowadays. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the few wreck it for the many.
Yeah.
That cake is not getting taste buds on it.
I don't think that you're trying to poison me. I just don't trust that you're a good cook. That's my thing. And I don't want you carrying meat around to MEO.
Zach's kind of
weird.
smirking a lot.
The only thing that I've accepted, because I'm actually in the same party as you guys, I feel like being given a cooked and prepared meal is just really risky, even though it may not be, right? But when we were in China, had a viewer come in from, like, I think it was a Southeast Asian country, and just bring like goodie bags from their country, but it was like vacuum sealed bags of like these are.
But it was like treats and
confectionaries
like
that we-
candies and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's in it.
And I like
Those-
those were
yeah,
great,
yeah,
right?
which is
but like
different.
a bolognese sauce is like
Yeah,
you don't know
no.
what you get.
But he also said he was going to make it at the show, right? So we can theoretically like watch all the ingredients that are going in.
Oh, so you're saying if we provided the ingredients? So
Yeah.
I would eat
Jake
it.
brings
Yeah.
some sort of cow shin.
Yeah.
Then,
I would eat it.
Or
if,
just the whole
if I
cow.
could watch him cook it, I would eat it.
yeah.
That's just me. I'm just skeptical.
No, that
It's
makes
not even
sense.
about bad food. It's just about dying.
Okay, so I think we've established here that if Jake gets to bring the ingredients and give them, and you become a chef, he'll eat it. I'll never eat it because I don't trust that you're a good cook. Pulse will eat it if you bring the ingredients and cook it in front of him. And Rusty will eat bolognese if you wrap it up in like a candy wrapper and it
vacuum
looks
sealed
like it's
bag.
never been
Well,
done.
if I join you in cooking as well. But
Also, when you make bolognese,
Yeah.
it either has to be with shells or with spaghetti.
I'll definitely take the spaghetti. But you could put it on the spirally ones.
No, not a fan.
Good grip.
Yeah, they do have good grip.
They got good grip.
They do.
You want good grip with
Do
the
you know
pasta.
vegetarians? If you're a vegetarian and you've never had the joy of bolognese, a
Yep.
very good substitute is lentils.
That is true.
Red
Or
lentils.
eggplant.
Yeah, but that's not really like bolognese.
No, but it's like meaty.
Yeah, it is. But like once again, do you know what bolognese is? I feel like we're on a different wavelength about bolognese.
It's that little fermented milk trick, right? All right. Question number 2. Sam G. Who do you all main at the desk?
Bard. I have a tattoo of Bard.
Alawi, I literally only
This is
play
a
that.
really easy one, actually.
Yeah. Two
think-
one tricks.
Bryce also mains Bard.
Yeah.
From my memories in solo queue recently, that is actually all his playing. Whereas I'm at legitimately a Kiana one trick ever since she came out.
Yeah.
But Bryce is also a Bard, so
I've
there's
also-
too many of us.
Always been a one trick. Like every season, I'll like pick a champion, but I did that up until like season 5, and it's just been Alawi forever. So
Why don't you have an Alawi tattoo? Or do you? And we just can't say it.
maybe you just can't see it.
I believe that about you. I reckon you got one in the fold somewhere. We're going to find out where. Next question. Hazard Dolly. When will the LCS return to the OPL? Speaking of bolognese.
As soon as you know what, if they allow us to bring in a small butane flame and a
Yep.
frying pan, I'll do it again now.
That's what? That's just actual cooking.
Yeah.
That's just like genuine cooking. Where's the challenge? You should be proud because you cooked the best thing. For those of you who don't know, the LCS is the
League Cooking Sucks.
League Cooking Sucks segment that we did a couple of weeks ago, where the challenge was that you needed to cook a dish in 10 minutes, and we only had a microwave to prepare the food in. You stepped up and made 2 genuine meals. Bryce made something that I'm fairly certain is actually what got him sick this week. It's just been a delayed
Oh,
effect.
I know. I actually feel ill thinking about
I was on a
Bryce's
different
warm,
continent,
eggy
and
bread.
it made me ill.
Sorry?
I was on a different continent, and it made me ill.
I know.
Yeah.
It was, that was not a good
I have
time.
nightmares about it. And Hinger's mug brownie, also nightmare inducing. What do we call it? Fairy poop?
Yeah. Hingers went into that with a lot of confidence, and really, like, basically just ruined a mug. Is the real
Oh,
reason.
he ruined the mug.
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Didn't you shatter a mug?
That was a different mug, Rusty. Don't confuse the mugs.
Sorry, I
I
wasn't here.
improved that mug. That mug is now a collector's item. I would love to do another one of those. I mean, I feel like we can't do 2 in 1 split. That's just overkill.
Yeah.